Hello and welcome to the Justin Hamilton podcast. We are welcoming back Dave Anthony from an undisclosed place in America, so that way he can remain safe from his enemies, and of course, it's his house. So you're up for, is it always fun when Dave and I chat? I feel like it's fun. There's a lot of old man energy going on, and count the amount of times that Dave, in the middle of a rant, accidentally turns off his microphone. It is entertaining. Take an over under right now, how many times that happens, and it is. I'm losing things that I can't find, and he's turning off his microphone. So uh, hopefully you're up for two dudes who are just killing life. Killing life. A couple of things to get into before I bring him in. There's a bit to actually share with you. First of all, we have a sponsor. Yes, we have a sponsor. No need to wonder anymore. You don't have to wonder about how you want to eat or what you want to eat. If you want a delicious snack, Wonder Pies is the way to go. I'm not writing anything down to do these reads. This is coming from the heart. I think Wonder Pies are absolutely delicious. They were delicious before they came on board, before they approached me to do this. And I have to say, if you like pies, they are very good at getting the ratio of filling to crust absolutely correct. Because there's some pies that I don't want to mention anybody, but remember maybe about 15 years ago when there was a certain pie place that was just popping up stores all over Australia, and you'd go in, you think, oh, I wouldn't mind a pie, and those pies were shithouse. They were flaky in the pastry, or they were soft because they were all microwaved, and so they'd fall apart in your hands. And then the filling was like microwaved to such an extent that it would burn your face off, and your fingers would have third-degree burns on them. And then by the time it cooled down, it'd be a congealed mess. Gross. Wonder pies are the exact opposite of that. They have a nice thick crust with a beautiful filling. I'm a vegetarian, so there's huge amounts of vegetarian options. And if you're a carnivore, which I'm guessing most of you are, there are lots of delicious opportunities for you to dig in and enjoy those pies as well. So if you're in Melbourne, you can find a number of their outlets, and if you're not near one of their outlets, go to wonderpies.com.au and you can discover their delicious produce, all designed by Chef Ray Capaldi, who is a good mate of mine. So check them out, please. Some other quick things to let you know about Adelaide. It's the 25th anniversary of Adelaide Comedy, and we've been celebrating it throughout the year. And they've been doing stuff without me, of course, because I'm not always there. But when I've been home, I've been joining in on the celebrations. And on the 19th of September, the last day that I will be 52, my good friend Mickey D and I, we are not only going to do stand up, but we're going to record a live podcast as well. And it's going to be about Mickey D's career and all the different things he's gotten up to. So that's the 19th of September at the Rhino Room. It's a live podcast. There's going to be stand up. And if you want more details, go to adelaidecomedy.com. And yeah, I'd love to see you there. It's going to be fun. I have a feeling that the Adelaide Crows might be in a semi-final. So you know what? If you're not a Crows supporter, we welcome you all. Or if you're a nervous Crows supporter, come and see us and have a good time. And then you'll find out the score later. And then when you've won, you can go, oh, great. Now I know that they won and I haven't had to be stressed. And you know what? I won't tell you exactly what these things are that are coming up just now, but in December, I'm going to be finally back in Brisbane. I have been absent from Brisbane for such a long time, and I'm going to be up at Good Chat, going to be doing a solo show there, so I will give you more details about that closer to the date, but keep an eye out for that. That'll be in December. I'd love to see all my Brisbane friends again, and then we'll be finishing off the year back in Adelaide to finish off the 25-year anniversary, we're going to do on the, I think it's the 19th of December, we're going to do the Adelaide Atheist Christmas show, which will be streamed on my YouTube channel and then will be edited down and put on C44 in Adelaide. So that'll be a fun way to finish up the year, and it's going to be, we're already starting to plan some pretty dumb and fun things. In the meantime, I've also set up a Substack. You can find the dispatches from the Fury Road blog over there. That is free, but I've started well, I guess it's kind of like a semi-autobiography slash lessons I've learned throughout my time in the industry. It's an ongoing series called One Foot in the Spotlight. So if you enjoyed the old blog and you'd like to continue reading that, that's there. The latest entry is off the back of talking about weapons on this podcast, and it's my 5 favorite horror films. And if you'd like something that's going to be a little bit more in depth and looking into my history, and as I said, the lessons that I learned at different stages in my career, then you can subscribe and get access to One Foot in the Spotlight. And of course, over at Patreon, you can get, if you're more into the audio side of things, you can get this podcast ad-free. There's live shows, live stand-up shows that you can engage with, bonus podcasts, all sorts of things. So blah, 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 blah. There you go. All right, let's bring in the wonderful Dave Anthony, and I can't believe I just stumbled on his name. Of all the things to stumble on, I could go back and edit it out, but fuck it. Like, life's meant to be messy. Let's just keep it messy, right? And I'll pop back right at the end to say goodbye. But let's bring in Dave Anthony now. So I have a table lamp that the globe in it, this is a tiny globe, lasted like a ridiculous amount of time, maybe about 13, 14 years. Never had to replace it. And then not long ago, it finally blew, and I had to buy a new one. And because they're so small, they kind of come in a pack of 6. And I thought, well, that's fine. I'll wrap these up, put them away, and I'm sure it won't last that long. But at least I've got these spares. Anyway, it went last night, and I thought, well, I've got all these spares, so I went to where I thought they were, and they weren't there. And then I kept looking, and this apartment's not that big, and I don't own that much stuff that I would have lots of different hidey holes for these little globes. And after just over an hour, I had to give up because it was like 1:45 in the morning. And so my question to you is this the first signs of dementia?
No, well, I hope not, because this is the kind of stuff that happens to me all the time. So I'm
Right?
really hoping not. But
Okay.
about 30% of my life in my 50s is spent searching for things in my home.
Right.
Yeah, that usually aren't found.
Oh, do you, is there a certain amount of time that you'll dedicate to the journey, and then God be with you,
Yeah.
you're out in the ether now?
Yeah, I don't put that much time into it anymore because I have like, if there's a thing, I'm like, okay, this should be in 3 spots.
Mm,
And if it's not, then I'm like, okay, it's gone. I just have to get a new one. Although the other day I was looking for something and I went to the 3 spots and I was like, I can't believe it's not there. And then it went back to one of the spots and I was like, there it is, right there.
right. Oh, yes. So, do you remember the actor? He was an actor, and he worked a lot in theater, and he was an improviser. Del Close, a long time
Uh,
ago, appeared in movies like The Untouchables and things like that.
yeah, yeah,
He wrote a series of comic books called The Wasteland, and they were like little Twilight Zone stories.
uh-huh,
And one of his stories explained how you can look in a place for something, turn your head away, look back, and then it's there. And that is that
yeah.
reality is being created just ahead of us. And the aliens that are creating the universe just ahead of us sometimes fuck up the continuity, and they forget to put the pen back.
Oh, I don't like the idea of that at all.
No, I just prefer that I just didn't see it.
Yeah, I don't need to know that. Why tell us that, Del? Just
Yeah.
you
Keep
don't
it
need
to
to
yourself, mate.
you don't need to no one needs to know. No one needs to know.
There's all sorts of things that come out in stories, and there was a new theory that came out in New Scientist recently that our solar system is in a black hole that's slowly falling down, and that's why we
Oh
can't
yeah.
reach anything, and that would explain the issue with the Hubble telescope and the universe expanding. And I just thought, well, that would explain a lot of what's going on in this world.
I Right. I wonder if the going into a black hole also creates like negative stuff all throughout, you know,
Yeah.
where we are. Like if it just creates negativity everywhere. I mean, that would explain some stuff. Also, just I think capitalism does too. So
Oh, well, there's that as well. But there is a little part of me that sometimes you read science stuff and you go, I don't necessarily believe in a multiverse, and I think yeah, your math says this, but I feel like you guys are just wanking over
yeah.
numbers. But I read that one and I went, oh, kind of
Eh,
explains
eh,
reality TV. Explains
yeah,
a
I'll
lot
take
of
that
things
one. Yeah, it really
subconsciously.
does.
Just we know deep down back here, and that's what's kind of ruining us.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so I thought I would after our last chat. I thought, well, you know what? I never look at the Democrats, and I always talk about what's
Oh.
wrong with the Republicans, and I was trying to look at the Democrats and see if there's any hope moving forward. And I have become obsessed. I had this weird moment of synchronicity where, knowing that I was going to talk to you this week, I was looking up Chuck Schumer and
Mm.
his insane relationship with an imaginary family called Joe and Eileen
Yes.
Bailey. And
Yeah.
and then in one of these weird, overwhelming moments of synchronicity, John Oliver talked about it on us.
Oh, he did.
On yeah, and it was so when
Oh,
you're sitting there going, well, I'm going to take this as a compliment that I've accidentally tapped into something that the John Oliver writer's
yeah.
obsessing about as well. But what do you know about that, and can you explain it for people who aren't across Joe and Eileen Bailey?
Yeah, so I think he created them when he was either first running for Congress or during his first time in Congress. And he basically fabricated this couple,
Mm,
and they have aged along with him in office, and they're his go-to. And he goes, "Well, what would they think?
yeah,
Where would they be on this?" And then they just always happen to coincide with what he thinks, and really have terrible views and opinions on the world. They're really abhorrent people, and they really want things that aren't really good for everybody. They want
right,
stuff that's just good for themselves. But they're his imaginary go-to family to believe in. It's really just one of the craziest things you've ever heard a politician do. Instead of just like, I don't know, talking to people or just like
like finding a
reading the
real couple.
stats, finding real people, you invented some that then will just kind of back up everything terrible you want to do. Yeah, it's very it's crazy, and the fact that he's the head senator for Democrats is just mind-boggling.
Yeah, and what kind of was blowing me away about it is that I'm kind of used to politicians saying crazy ass shit,
Hmm.
but this
Hmm.
one is almost so low level that I think it's quite easy to have it just wash past you, and you don't really take into account that in a way he might be the most insane of everyone.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. Like, if I'm a journalist, I don't know how for 30, 40 years, like, I don't know how long it's been going on. I don't know how they just haven't been making fun of him the whole time. Like, just keep asking him, like, so what does Eileen think? Like,
Yeah,
just mock him because it's just, you should be making fun of him constantly because it's, it's nuts. It's crazy. It's like, what are you doing?
yeah. Well, because also there's an opportunity to redeem yourself. Like you could, if he had any sense of humor, which I have a sneaking suspicion he doesn't.
No.
If if you were making fun of him for this, you could kind of just lean into, oh yeah, I've taken this imagery too far because it's something that we're taught with radio, and always picture that person that you want to be
Sure.
reaching. But like he talks about uh, how much they earn,
Mhm.
what they like to roll the dice with when they go out eating.
Yeah,
Like,
it seems like, when you're a writer and you're writing a story, a screenplay, whatever, you're supposed to come up with character biographies so that when something happens, you'll be like, oh yeah, and then the person will react this way. And it seems like he has character biographies on these people. Like he has everything broken down, and it's got to be terrifying to work in his office
yes.
when he's just like, no, they make 120,000, and you're like, they're not real. What are you talking about?
Also, imagine making a good point. Well, this is exactly how we should be treating the people and how we can kind of really help those in lower economic situations. And, well, George doesn't really see it that way. It's like, why don't you go and talk to the fucking Snuffleupagus? Like, that guy's more real.
There are people out there you can talk to instead of imaginary. It's just politicians they also just never stop hearing from people, so they don't need to make up people. It's also why like when Hillary was running against Trump, he was like, for every one Democrat we drop in the city, we're going to pick up two Republicans in the suburbs, which never happened because those are just made up people. Like they're not
Yes,
real.
yes. Yes, as soon as I voted for Hillary, and for vice president, I voted for Aslan, and he got done by the Wicked Witch, who brought in some chocolate. Like
I
it's
mean,
it, it, it,
it's
it, it,
crazy.
if it's any consolation, like sometimes you talk about how bad the Democrats are, and I believe you, and then I read something like this, and it's one of those times where I go, oh wow, Dave's been downplaying this.
I mean, I could go on for hours about the Democrats. It's just like people just don't want to hear it, but they're batshit fucking like they're so detached from reality. You just can't
Right,
believe what you're watching.
right.
Like what's his name? The head of their head of the house, Joaquin Jeffries. Did you see the post he put up of him holding a baseball bat?
No.
Just trying to put, so everyone's calling him weak. He's not doing anything. So he just picks up a picture of him holding a baseball bat in his office, like tough guy, kind of not like playing
Like,
ball, like, oh, I'm gonna beat your head in. And the camera shot was from above, so it made him look smaller, and he really didn't know how to hold it. And he's just kind of standing there in his office and doesn't know what he's. It looks like I don't know what this is. Like, and they put that stuff out, and you're just like, what are you doing? Like, did anybody look at this and go, yeah, this looks really bad. This looks really bad. Just shoot from up. Just go below and shoot up so you look bigger. And he just looks at this the weird little guy with a bat. And you're like, what? What are you guys
uh,
doing?
this is
Okay.
this guy going to go and play t-ball? Like, what the fuck is happening? Also, you always know if you want to get a photo that makes you look more impressive, there's only one type of photographer to go to, and that's people who work in real estate. They are the best photographers in the
Always.
world.
Always.
The
Yeah.
amount of times I've gone to check out a three-bedroom apartment and it's turned out to be a studio, and I think, well done. You have got me once again.
You really did it.
Tell
Because
me the
you know
filter.
what? On the ad, it didn't look like a closet, but it's a closet, but it looked like a one bedroom. That's amazing. It's a closet, yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, I am here in Sydney. How much? 800. Well, seems like a bargain. I also love the idea that this guy is, I got to look tough, and someone's decided, oh, maybe you should. Maybe it was the Baileys. Maybe you need to hold a baseball bat. And probably
Yeah.
I bet you there's a photo where the first photo is he's holding it the wrong end.
Absolutely. And then there's another one. He's like licking it. And you're like, no, 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 no,
No,
don't
don't lick it.
don't lick the bat. That doesn't look tough. That's
Another one, he's riding it,
uh,
and he's like saying, "Look, it looks like a horse." It's like, no, it looks like you have a stubby dick. Like, what are you doing, mate? Have you ever seen a baseball bat before? Absolutely.
pretty, no. Well, in movies,
Yeah. Puts it in a big bun, tries to take a bite out of it. It's not a sausage, mate. Like
it's not.
it's
So I'll lick it again then. No, no.
Yeah.
Oh.
Wow. Well, that's great. And in California, you have Gavin Newsom, who I find really difficult to get my head around because he he seems like he might be good, but he also seems like he's awful.
He's awful. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's really good at portraying himself as a fighter against Republicans and portraying himself as, fighting for what's right and decent. But like he has vetoed so many bills that would help workers. Like there was one I think they passed the one where you have to provide shade and water for immigrants who are working out in our fields. But then
Mm.
there was other ones like, yeah, you got to give them health care. He's like, nah, why would we do that? Or you got to give him a decent wage. So he does stuff to make it surfacey stuff to make it look like he's doing things that are good. This is the explanation I use for Gavin Newsom when I want to explain to people. He came out and like when COVID hit, he closed everything, shut everything down. He goes, we got to get a handle on this. Um, but then when the vaccines came out, he had everything set up to distribute them and put them out. But his biggest backer is the health insurance company, Blue Cross. And so he then all of a sudden at the last minute didn't put out the vaccines and said, no, Blue Cross is going to do it and delayed the vaccines for like 2.5 weeks, which caused a lot of people to die and a lot of people in that time period to get sick. And then it wasn't rolled out well because insurance, that's not what an insurance company is for. That's not like it's hard to do because you're not insuring everybody as it is. You're not the kind of place that sets up a massive vaccination site
Yeah.
where cars can come through and tons of people. So you're not equipped to do that. So he delayed it and then the rollout was terrible. And just in that time period, tons of people died. But then he's like, we tackled it. You're like, no, you kind of tackled it, but you also took money and then had a bunch of people die. So that's who he
That's
is.
yeah, right. That, that's insane because like I'm happy to rip into insurance companies, but they don't have the infrastructure for setting up that kind of thing. So of course it's
No,
gonna
even a provider doesn't, a provider can't do it in America because any provider doesn't provide to everybody. It doesn't. The
right.
government provides to everybody. The government's there. Like we have schools and like the government actually has places that can set up and do this stuff where everybody in the community comes.
Mm,
A provider, insurance company provider, they they only deal with a segment of the population.
mm,
They're not gonna like 15%. They're not equipped
mm,
to do this kind of stuff. So neither
yeah,
one, any private provider, any health insurance company is just not equipped to do it here. And then, but
yeah.
they are also his number one donator.
Yes. And that's the problem, isn't it? That all these people in positions of power are under the yoke of the people who donate them money. And so
Yeah,
therefore they're ineffectual. And therefore also, how's anything going to get fixed in the future?
right. It won't. Yeah, yeah. You see how it works.
Yeah. You
So,
know, look, I have an idea, and it's pretty bare bones, and I haven't discussed it with anyone, so I'm going to throw it out to you, and feel free to tell me where it would trip up. But my theory is we could fix the world if we murder the rich.
I don't have I don't see the trip up part.
Maybe the wording.
It seems pretty I don't know. I'm not really I just because this morning I was just reading a thing about how um if we got rid of the rich and how much capitalism actually sets us back because I think it was we would work without capitalism, we would work 30% less of the time because we
Yes.
wouldn't be making things that don't matter to sell.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
so we would just be making things to advance humankind and help
yeah,
each other and things. So we would work 30% less of the time. And then, but all that, but what you're talking about is all that stuff that we're working for just goes to the rich people, all that
right,
money and all that power. So
right.
yeah, yeah, I don't really have any, I can't really see any drawbacks.
And
Really.
if anyone clips this and plays it against us, I still stand by my words. And if anyone uses us as an excuse, then just spell my name correctly. And don't
Yeah,
forget
seriously. I
to
mean,
promote
look,
the YouTube channel.
and people will be like, you can't say that. It's like, man, the other stuff I've said, this doesn't mean any. This is nothing.
It's fine.
I've said,
It's words.
trust me, my footprint online is really bad. I can't be
Yeah.
saved.
Yeah. It's I was looking at online the latest Nine Inch Nails tour, and it looks fantastic. And I would
Oh,
love to come over to America and see it, but fingers crossed
yeah.
he'll come to Australia.
I would think he would. I would think that he
Yeah,
would go to the other places
yeah,
where they do the English. Yeah, they
yeah.
always do world tours now. They don't just do America.
No, no, no. That's it's the only way he can make money anymore. Um,
Yeah.
the the idea of getting I saw yeah, like I know it's a cliche to talk about how rough money is and the rich have it all, etc. Blah blah blah. But I saw it was a muso that I have no idea who this muso is, but someone else I follow reposted this guy, and he put on a show in New York where I think the box office at the end was, for one night in this little venue was something like $700, and he saw none of it because
Oh my
you know
God.
like 450 or something went to the venue, and then you
Mm,
had to pay for this and then you had to pay for that. So
yeah.
uh and he wrote it was a really great gig, but
Hmm.
and the audience was lovely,
Hmm.
and vibes
But I
aren't going to
didn't make
pay
any
for
money.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, people don't really realize like because private equity here is just destroying everything, and so they're also buying up theaters and stuff, and so
Right.
like we'll go to a theater and we like, oh, that's cool. We didn't make any money, but we had 600 people there. But that's how it all shakes out.
Oh, that's
So
crazy.
we're starting to just do comedy clubs because you make a lot more money in a comedy club than you would
Right.
like. We could sell half the amount of tickets in a comedy club and make way more money than we would in theater.
And maybe do two shows. Would that be, you'd be better off doing two shows and
Yeah, you do two
selling it?
shows and yeah, make a lot more. I mean, part of it's that some of the theaters are unionized, and that's fine. But then you look at the
Mm.
fees and you go, well, that's not because of some guys making an extra $100. That's actually just you taking money.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Don't use what I believe in against me.
Yeah, they're really good. They're really good. But it's great. The amount of money that they take, the fees is just completely insane. It's insane.
Yeah, it's I have a lot of empathy for up and coming comedians in this country who the festivals are a good place to uh showcase what you can do. And
Hmm.
most punters don't realize that what is it, 650 to just register to
I
have
mean,
have your name and a little blurb in a book or on a website that most people
yeah.
aren't going to scroll through.
Yeah, look, yeah, I mean, your festivals are a great example. Like, I'll never forget, I was supposed to do a show there and I had a room booked, and whatever, the owners of the place all of a sudden canceled all the shows because they were going to redo the room and change it to something else. And so there were like four comics out. And so I then got put up by the festival, and the amount of money, the difference of being in a festival venue, like I did, I had over 100 people every night for the whole run, 4 weeks,
Mm,
and I made so much less than had I
right.
been in my own, like so much less money. Like it was crazy. I was like, wow, I could have stayed home and worked at McDonald's and I probably would
Yeah.
have made more money.
Yeah. Yeah. The last show I did at the Melbourne Comedy Festival, I did a one-off and sold out the lower town hall. and it was honestly the biggest audience I've had to a solo show just for me.
Hmm.
Great night, and out of the 8 grand box office, once you take out flights, and thank goodness I stayed with a friend, I made $600, which almost covered my rent for the week.
It's just insane. They're just like, well, so we have to take 25% for the festival. Why? What? No, why are you taking the 25? It's the amount we take. But well, it's for all the stuff. What stuff?
Yeah. Well, all the festivals, and I'm friends with the people who run the festivals, but all the festivals around Australia,
All.
they're the biggest producers at the shows, at the
Right.
festivals. Like they're
Yeah.
producing shows. So you're paying money to go up against the acts that they're promoting.
Yeah, and they're selling the tickets. They're getting a cut of that. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just like it's just cuts everywhere. Everyone takes their cut, and then you're like, hey, what about the guy who did the thing?
Yeah.
No.
No. No. Oh man. Comedians always whining, always banging on about money. Oh
I
God. When are
mean,
they gonna grow up?
I mean, if I'm running a festival, I have a bunch of spaces for new young comics who I put up, and they don't have to pay anything for that room. And you choose, you curate that, but up and comers, young guys, and they get to take all the money, and then the top guys pay a little bit more
Mm,
to the festival, so that the younger new generation can have time to work out and rise up. And then
mm.
when they rise up, you make more money because they're selling a lot of tickets.
Yeah.
What do I know though?
What do you know? Coming in here with your socialist theories to make money at the Adelaide Fringe. I feel like the Adelaide Fringe needs a fringe. Do you know what I mean? Like the fringe was set
That's
up to
what
go against the festival, and now
I
now we need a fringe of the
I feel
fringe.
like someone I feel like someone said exactly that to me about Edinburgh Fringe like
Yeah,
15 years ago.
yeah,
Because
yeah,
eventually they become what they weren't what they were fighting against, and then you
yeah,
need you need a Adelaide Fringe, right?
yeah. Adelaide
Yeah.
Fringe. That's what I'm going to set up.
Or they call it the Outer Fringe. I don't know what.
Yeah, just a whole lot of us in a barn. It'll be great. But I tell you what, everyone's going to make money. It's going to be really good. Is there a way? Uh, it must be difficult, and I can say that I don't know because I've never reached these heights. But it must be difficult to uh, rise to a certain position of success and not over time become conservative. Yeah, I mean, as in your approach to what you make.
I mean, yeah, probably. I mean, I know some guys that haven't. I know a lot of guys that have. But again, you're always looking at your money and you're like, I want more of that. I want more of that. And so,
Yeah,
that's kind of how it works, I think.
yeah. Well, at the moment,
I'm
I want more
definitely.
of it just to pay for
Yeah, well,
things.
that's
That's the
different.
problem.
I'm looking at my money going, boy, I hope I don't end up on the street when I'm 75. Like
Oh
that's
my
how I look at
Lord.
my money.
That's why I was hoping you were going to tell me that was the kicking in of dementia. So when I'm out there, I'm just like, I'm a sun god. I love the sun. Oh, you dropped out.
Oh, why? As I want to be able, you go online and look at my worth. Man, I wish I was that guy.
Oh,
I
really?
wouldn't be. Yeah, I would have stopped doing podcasts. Like, I think my net worth last time I looked was like 5 million, and I'm just like, wow, what's
Was
that
it?
like?
Hang on. So, what do you mean? So that's what people are projecting?
Well, there's if you go online and just Google the net worth of anybody, it's always crazy higher than what it really is. And so, yeah, my
Oh,
net worth is online. If you just Google it, the thing that comes up on Google just says 5 million, and you're like, wow,
wow. Who
that would be
is?
amazing.
How do I get to meet that Dave Anthony?
I absolutely would have retired. I'd be done. I would not be anywhere. You would not hear me podcasting. I'd be
Yeah.
doing anything. I would just be gone.
You wouldn't have an urge to be making something?
No,
No.
hell no, 5 million. I'm out, baby.
Yeah, yeah. Waiting for that big check. Damn. Well, I don't know if I told you, did we talk about seeing the movie 28 Years Later?
I don't know if we did. I saw it.
Yeah. I was fascinated by that because that is a movie made by an Oscar-winning director, and it's Alex Garland is a well-respected kind of darling of the alternative scene in movies and writing and directing, and that film had this really interesting DIY uh, feel to it, and about halfway through the film, I don't know if you felt this, but halfway through the film, they make a choice, whether you like it or not. They make the choice that is not the easier choice. And I found that really invigorating because I think
Yeah.
the first half of the film, they could have just made more of that for the second half, and it probably
Hmm.
makes more money and there's less to talk about.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Yeah, I mean, it's not something I think you see very much. I think you used to see it more with older independent films, but I don't think you see people making choices like that because people don't want to feel sad.
No, no, people don't want to feel sad. Well, it also this is this speaks to probably my mindset, but I found it quite beautiful. Like it was
Yeah,
sad, but it
it
was
it was all handled very well. Like it was all done very well.
yeah, and this moving from this real masculine 19th century
Uh-huh.
energy and we celebrate the Queen and this is the little island we live on
Yeah,
and we've gone back to these old roots of this is how you should live to this weird feminine story where Ray Fiennes, who's been set up to be like a Marlon Brando Colonel Kurtz, and when he
yeah,
turns up, he's just such a delight. He's so
yeah. He's great.
nice.
Yeah, it
And
was
he's
awesome.
he's treating everyone really nicely. He's looking at the infected as people who are suffering, and
Uh-huh.
and it's kind of really beautiful. And then for the last 7 minutes, it's like Danny Boyle walks in and gives you a couple of punches to the face and says, "Remember Jimmy Savile?" This all kicked off before we discovered how awful he was. So these kids don't know. That made me laugh so hard. One of the
That
most
is really
delightful
funny.
moments of whiplash I've had in a cinema for a long time.
Yeah, I thought it was really good. I mean, I really enjoyed it. Like, it's hard to make a movie like that interesting and good because it's the third one. You've seen a bunch of stuff. Like, they did a good job.
Yeah, yeah. And once again, like these are guys who they know what works and they
They
chose
do.
not to do that.
Yeah,
They decided
absolutely.
let's roll the dice and see what happens. Interestingly, Alex Garland said in an interview that his initial idea for it, he said, it was too straightforward, and he showed it to Danny Boyle, and Danny was like, you know, wasn't
Yeah,
really excited by it. And he looked at the script and went, this is too it's too by the
mainstream.
numbers. But
Yeah.
but you know what was funny was then he then explained his idea was uh, because the UK has been cut off, uh, someone's trying to weaponize the rage virus. And so these Chinese task force get dropped into the middle of the UK and have to go to the original laboratory to find out, to try and find a little bit of the virus so they can build immunization against this weapon that people are
Mhm.
trying to. And I was laughing because I was like, nah, that sounds pretty good too. I'm not sure that's, but that was his mainstream idea.
Yeah, that is totally the mainstream idea. That's like a video
Yes,
game idea, right? Like,
yes,
yeah, but that, like you said, that is by the numbers, and that is what you'd expect.
yes.
Which is why I think it's cool what they did, where it was just kind of like, yeah, kind of nothing's what you thought it would be, which is what it always is. Like, it never goes the way you think it's going to be.
No, No, I
I
love
say
the
I say to the I say to the authoritarian leaders of America.
fingers crossed. I also love the Swedish soldier who is just a perfect character to
Yes.
drop into all of that because through his dialogue, you suddenly go, "Nah, the world's kicked on. They've got Amazon.
Yeah. Which is
What
It's
would
what would
happen?"
happen. Everyone would just go on. You just get forgotten about. They just go on without you. They're like, yeah, yeah, they're fucked. Yeah. Which
The
is what
beautiful moment
again
when
I
the
say to
young
America again.
Yeah. Well, the beautiful moment when the young fella sees the photo of the Swedish guy's girlfriend and
Oh yeah.
and asks what happened to her face.
Yeah, that's amazing. That was my favorite moment of the whole movie.
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
Absolutely.
yeah. We've someone back at the village who's allergic to crayfish.
Because I feel like I'm alone in the world. I just see people what they do to their face, and I'm just like, no, no, what are you doing?
Oh, yeah, yeah. I think I've said to you before, the world's never been hotter, and I've never been less turned on. It's uh, it's like everyone can make the choices they want to make, but there is something really bizarre where there's some young actresses that I've seen uh in movies that I've thought, oh, they're quite good, and then you see them growing up appearing in things and you go, oh yeah, you know what, I'm gonna put my flag here. Like Elle Fanning was one. I thought, oh, she's really good in the movie somewhere. Everything that she's kind of made since, I've gone, oh, she's great. I'm really enjoying her stuff. And then there's other girls who are just as talented, but the fact is that suddenly they go from these young people growing up to suddenly they look 38 because they've
Yeah.
they've already started having the surgery because you have the additions now, so you grow into it, and
Mhm.
suddenly their acting is losing something.
Yeah, because their face loses a little bit of emotion and expression. It
Yeah.
just does because it's all tight and weird. And we can pick up little tiny subtle things that
Mm.
are now gone. They're gone.
Yeah. Well, there's one of the interesting things, and I read this like 10 years ago, well, and we're probably seeing it now with grown up kids who have grown up, is babies not being able to learn parts of what it's like to be human and social norms because their mums have Botox. So they're not picking up on
Oh,
frowns and they're not picking up on all sorts of things. And I told my friend about this, and she had a son at the time who was about 4, and she was absolutely shocked and dismayed by it. But I did not know because her face didn't move. She had to tell me, "Oh, you are shocked." Oh. In her defense, her Botox was pretty good. I didn't pick up on it.
I met someone who was like 26 the other day, and she's like, "Yeah, I can't afford to get Botox on my lips right now." And I'm like, "You're really attractive. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
Why would you do that at that
yeah,
age?"
yeah, yeah. It's funny. You kind of you watch old movies, and you're suddenly getting turned on by people who have, oh, she has crow's feet. Like that is oh, look at that guy. There's some weird wrinkle in his face. That is fantastic. He looks awesome.
Yeah. I'll never forget when Roseanne went from being Roseanne to having all the face work and was still on TV and it was just like, uh, this show's not funny. She's not funny at all anymore because it was just
Yeah,
like coming out of this mask and you're like, it's not funny.
yeah. And also it's an antithesis to who she
Right.
is and what she's
Right.
meant to be portraying.
Yeah, completely. Although now everybody wants to do that. So I I don't know what the end of this. I don't know what the end of it is, but when the big lips started, I was just like, I'm out. Like I can't even look at these people anymore. And now big lips are just like a thing. And you're like, they don't look normal. You look weird. You look like it's like right, like you like a crab, a crab. What do you call it?
Got an
Allergy, right?
allergy.
Allergic
Yeah,
reaction
yeah,
to crab. Like you look like you got stung by bees. Like it's just like, what are we doing? What
well,
about
it
just
looked,
having small lips and being pretty?
yeah, well, it looks painful to me as well. That's
It
the
does look
thing.
painful. That yeah. Yeah, you got
Like
to
it
get
looks like,
shot in there, right?
Yes, and it always looks like if you picked up a coffee cup and it was just slightly hotter than you were expecting, your lips probably gonna burst.
Oh
That's
yeah, it's got you probably have to get used to the lips. You're just like
oh
like
my
dripping eggs
Lord.
out all the time.
Yeah. And now with AI and the things that it can do, where I think it's going to be even harder for young people to not be seduced by this stuff because that stuff's really smoothing out the edges.
Yeah, it really is, isn't it? They're really smoothing out the edges. It's very weird. I wonder when we're it seems like we're rapidly approaching a point where everyone's just going to be like, I don't believe anything on video anymore.
You know what? I reckon we are right at the starting
Yeah,
line. You know,
yeah.
you know, I was earlier this year was flicking around Instagram and I saw a post-game interview with Steph Curry, the NBA basketballer for the Golden State Warriors, who is notoriously known as a pretty decent guy, and he was
Uh-huh.
just fucking wailing on some of his teammates and saying how they really not brought their A game, and I had probably 3 seconds of going, whoa, Steph Curry. And then I looked and I went, oh, that's AI. That's his mouth isn't moving properly. This looks more like a Clutch Cargo cartoon than, but I had to look.
Yeah, I've been caught like 4 or 5 times where I start a video and I just go, "Holy, oh, that's not real."
Yeah,
There was
yeah,
one, the first one I remember the first one, it was a bunch of rabbits on a backyard trampoline, and I was like, "Look at that is oh, that's not real."
not real. Not real. And it kind of ruins things that are heaps of fun now.
Mhm.
Because
It is.
you're
Yep.
too busy going, yeah, did that dog order a frappuccino? I don't know. Like this could be
I'd like to think
bullshit.
he did. I really want it to be true.
You know what my fear with
But
AI is? Oh, go on.
but don't you think that an avenue is opening up for a social media or whatever it is to just be like no AI anywhere?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And they're going to be shocked at how many people go to that.
Yes. Yeah. Because I think people are pretty. It's still uncanny valley, and
Mhm.
it's still weirding people out.
Yeah. Did you see the numbers? Let me see if I can find the graph and hold it up for you. But so our school year here ends in June,
Mhm.
and this graph came out recently of the what the use of AI. See if you can see what happens there.
What the
So
freak happened to OpenAI? Oh,
it's being used a
yeah.
lot, and then all of a sudden, the first week of
It,
June, it
yeah.
collapses.
Yeah.
Call school.
So
It's being
what
used by
is that?
kids. It's just being used
Right.
by school kids to do their homework and whatever else.
Right. That's good.
Yeah, people were like, "Why did it drop off in June?" And someone's like, "Because that's when they get out of school, dummies." Like,
Yeah.
of course, that's what they're using. Of course, that's what they're using it for. If I was in school, I'd be like, "Yeah, do my homework." Like,
Yeah. Yeah. It is. Man, that is depressing. That is such a dramatic drop off. For a moment, I was looking at it trying to find. It was almost like my head was, I need to find something positive in this, and it's like, I'm going to have an aneurysm in front of Dave. Can't do it. Can't do it. It's it- it's it's frustrating. You know, there's been that talk about the Gen Z stare. You know,
yeah,
and which I don't know. It's one of those things where I'm not
I don't
into
know
these
either.
labels because
No, I'm
to
not either.
me, no, I think all these labels are. I've had the Gen X stare. It's the same stare.
Yes, yes.
It's not
We
new.
we were we were slackers before they were the quitters, and like it's all the same shit, just different. We used to stare at people. There was a
Yeah,
whole '80s thing where they would just a kid would like just stare at you like that was the thing in movies and stuff. Like that's always been
Yeah, look
around.
at
Like people just
uh, look at John Hughes movies. You'll be right. You'll see that
yes,
it's
yes,
been around for a
the
long
stare.
time.
He
Yeah,
used that all the time because it was a thing. They
yeah.
kids roll their eyes or they stare at you. That's what they do. That's what they're supposed to do. That's their job.
They're meant to look at you and think you're a bit weird. Yeah, yeah. We're
Yeah,
different
yeah.
kind of animals.
Yes.
It's fine. My theory is with all of this stuff is that like it's the boomers versus the millennials, and it's the Gen Z stare, and it's this and it's that, and really there's only one battle that is really happening, and only one battle that's worthwhile, and it's the rich versus the poor, and that's where I get back to let's murder the rich,
Yes.
and that's the
Back
platform
to
I'll
that
die
point.
on.
That's exactly no, you're exactly right. It's really the only answer at this point. They're
Yeah,
responsible for all the bad stuff. I mean, sure, there's some bad poor people out there, but for the most part, the
sure.
rich people are doing all the bad stuff.
They're doing the heavy lifting, you know.
Yes. Yeah. And
Um,
there, there's so many studies, and anybody can look this up, of the richer you get, the more empathy you lose.
right, yeah, because you don't need to have it.
Right.
Yeah, because you've got your nice little bubble that's nice and comfy, and
That's right. Yeah.
you're there. Nothing can get in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Good. It's more just how we murder them at this point.
yeah. Yes. What we got to do is learn from the rich, and it's about efficiency, people. It's about efficiency.
Yes.
Um, there was a report on the Voyager 1, the satellite that we sent out to deep space in the 70s, and it's now hit this region that's so far beyond what they expected that they're calling it this fire zone because it's the radiation's so hot. But Voyager's still sending back information,
Mhm.
and I think I don't even think it has a megabyte on it, but it's still
Yeah. Wow.
working. And everyone
Yeah.
was like, how did they do that? And it's like, well, a little lesson. In the 70s, we used to make things to last. Like if that was made by Samsung now, that thing would have needed
Yeah.
replacing but before it got to Mars.
It's so crazy. It's just nothing is built to last anymore. You're just like, oh, so that's the capitalism thing you guys have been talking about? It's
Mate,
really cool.
the moment of real, like, what the fuck is going on with the world was the first time I walked down the street and there was just a TV, like a flat screen TV that looked absolutely perfectly fine on the side of the road.
Yeah. Yeah. Just built not to last, just built to
Yeah,
die at a certain age.
yeah.
The worst are
Oh,
refrigerators. Because
yeah.
we have this really old refrigerator. We had a guy come to repair it. And he goes, "Don't ever get rid of this." And I said, "Why?" And he goes, "Because it doesn't have any of the electronics and all the stuff that make them break all the time now." He goes, "Do not." He goes, "This will last you for the rest of your life." And
Right.
so now I like defrost it and I do all the stuff you would because I looked in refrigerators and they last like 7 years now. I'm like, why would I a 7 year refrigerator? That's
Yeah.
crazy.
And
You
you're
should
not
buy
what?
a fridge when you move into your house and that's your fridge.
And that's your fridge. You bought
Yeah.
it. Well, and you know what the worst thing is there's someone watching this video or listening to this podcast who's gone 7 years. Where did he get that? I got a shop
Gotta
where
take
Dave
that down to
shops.
3. How am I gonna make
Uh,
money?
yeah.
Yeah. But they have a lot of really cool stuff in them now. Like you can buy stuff, and I'm just like, why do I want a touch screen on my fridge?
No,
What? What? Why?
no,
Why?
no, it just needs to be cold. That's all I
Yes,
need.
that keeps stuff cold. It's a
Yeah.
box that keeps stuff cold. That's it. That's all it
Yeah.
is. My
Yeah.
to me, the bells and whistles are this one. This one has ice come out the front.
Oh,
That's all I need. Ice coming out the front. I can just put a glass up against it. That's very futuristic in my mind. I don't need anything else. I
yeah.
don't need zones in my fridge. Do you need zones? I don't need zones.
I don't even know what you mean. Like, are there bits where it's colder and a little?
Colder here than here. Yeah, I don't need any of that.
No, that's the vegetable crisper. Like,
And I don't need a fridge to say like, hey, you're out of jelly. I don't need that. I don't need it.
no, I'll know when I open the fridge and it's not there, and I'll feel that pang of disappointment. Oh, you press your audio button again.
We sound like old men,
We
but
are
we
old men.
are old men and everything. But there is something to say about like everything getting more complicated is not better. It's
Right.
just more complicated. But everything, our childhoods were easier because they were simpler. I mean, unless you had, a terrible parent or like whatever. But
Yeah.
just from the day to day, everything was a lot easier. And now it's more complicated and there's more ways to be distressed. Like when
Yeah.
I went home from school, I could choose to stay home and then no one bothered me. But now you have a little thing that bothers you
Yeah.
all the time
Yeah.
and can bully you and do everything
Yeah.
else. And it's just like, yeah, we didn't have those complications. Like when I came from school, it was just the neighborhood kids. That's all I had. There was no more school. It was just neighborhood kids I was dealing with.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just all so complicated now.
You
It's
know,
difficult.
uh, I do feel bad for kids, and I understand, the pressures of, like their hormones are going crazy, and they have overactive imaginations. It's a
Hmm.
bad blend already, and you know, like to be honest, I think it would be better if you went back to the neighborhood kids, uh, the with the things that you had to deal with, because at least it kept you fit. Because you knew from this
Hmm.
corner around to this corner, you needed to get through there without being seen. And you would,
Yeah,
you'd either
that's
run
true.
or you'd go the long way, so you got your steps up. Do you know what I mean? So
That's
you
right.
were still dealing with the same shit, but you had a level of fitness.
Yeah, there was a guy on the street who refused to put his dog away and like chain it up or whatever, and it would chase you on your bicycle. So
Yeah.
your choice was to ride your bike really fucking fast past that house or else
Oh
go through
yeah.
the path in the woods
Yeah.
behind his house, which was longer.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
those are the choices. But either way, you were getting exercise.
Mate, I there was a gang. Well, I say gang. They rode BMX bikes, but the kids were older than me, so they were
Yeah,
legitimately a
they
bit
were
scary.
terrorists.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they called themselves CMF, the Croydon motherfuckers,
Oh
and
Christ.
even now when I go home, I find CMF in concrete. So they're gonna be around like the pharaohs. People will be writing about them. But um, they used to hang out at a park down the road, and sometimes I'd need to get through that park to
Oh yeah.
meet up with someone to get a lift to a basketball game. And my club's colours were green and gold, so they really blended nicely with uh, camouflage. No,
Yeah, you're
sorry,
not
I
gonna be
stood
able to be
out. Yeah.
you're not gonna be able to be seen at all.
And they'd be all hanging down there smoking cigarettes and that, and sometimes I'd have to walk through that, and it
Oh.
was, and I just had to, I'll be honest, it was scary, but I just had to
Yeah.
fucking do it,
Right.
because to walk around was to it, like they're big blocks, it was gonna be
Yeah.
ridiculous. And the way and sometimes they'd be throwing, rocks at me as I'd be walking through, and
Sure.
I just treated it like Mark Lee in Gallipoli. I just walked straight, rocks whizzing past me, never got hit, and I would get through, and it would be. I tell you what, I'd have a lot of energy for the game because the adrenaline was spiked before
Oh,
you got
way
there.
up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
man, people
at
don't
least it was
understand
that
the
bit.
terror.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
that bit. That was all I had to deal with.
Yeah, it was a time when older kids always just would make our lives hell.
Yeah. Yeah. And now these
Yeah.
poor kids, they can wander home because there's no one on the streets.
There's nothing. Yeah, they don't like, I mean, look, it wasn't better. That part wasn't better, but
No.
it's just so like my kid's life is just like, he doesn't even really, so on our street, we have kids here, kids next door, same age next door, same age, both sides next door. And they've never even talked to each other. Never even
Yeah,
talked to each other.
right.
Which
That's
is where we would
fascinating.
have known. everything about each other. We would have been because you just go
Yeah,
out on the street and you play every day because there's nothing else to do. So you're just those are the people you're playing with. Until you get older, you can hang
yeah,
out with guys
yeah,
further away, but but they don't know each other at all. They don't even
yeah.
at all.
No, you'd be at home and you hear knock knock knock. No,
Yeah,
hello, Mrs. Anthony. Is Dave home?
that's right. Can we play basketball or whatever the hell it is?
Yeah,
And that's
you,
not even, he came, one of the kids came over like once. I think he's a year older than Finn, that kid. And they played video games once, and that was it. That's it.
yeah, yeah. How strange. Like that
Yeah.
is like part of getting to know your neighbor and being friends with them or finding them a bit annoying or like it prepares you for when you're older and you're in other situations where you've got to deal with someone that you're friends with or you're going
Yeah.
through a stage where they're annoying you and you want to avoid them and you've got to find ways to do it in
Yeah.
a polite manner.
One of the I still think one of the most destructive things to our society is that when I started playing video games way back when in 2000 or whatever, you could play four people on a console.
Right.
And then they started making all games one person on the console so they could sell more. But that meant that kids weren't getting together in rooms and just hanging
Oh
out and
yeah, yeah,
playing together. And I think that was incredibly destructive. I think that really set people off on this sort of antisocial, not able to deal with each other as well. And then just
yeah,
the you can be so heinous to someone who's anonymous online with you in a game. I don't know. I
yeah.
think that was a terrible thing.
Uh, how interesting. I hadn't even really thought about that. Of course, you'd be all on, there'd be three of you on the lounge and one on the chair, and you'd all have the pizza boxes in front of you and the drinks all
Yes.
around you, and you were talking shit
You
while you were playing.
One of the funnest times, periods of my life is when I moved to LA and we would have, we called them LAN parties. And it was a Halo video game thing we would do. And it was at Paget Brewster's house, who's like an actress on Cold File or one of those things.
Right.
And then we had like Paul F. Tompkins and Jay Johnson and like just all that crew you can think of, like all those guys, Jeremy Minor and blah blah blah. And then we just get together and there'd be 16 guys, four on a computer, and we would play from like 10 p.m. until 6 a.m.
Right.
every like Friday night.
Yeah.
And it was just like that's what we did on Friday night. We're gonna go do our thing. And I heard that other like George Clooney had a LAN party and there were all these
Yeah.
LAN parties around LA. And every once in a while you'd go up against a group and you'd be like, who are you guys? And they'd be like, well, I'm in the valley. And we'd be like, well, let's get together and take each other on. And
Yeah.
like one time I went over, there's this guy, the Executioner. I was like, you have the best name ever. And then we ended up going over to their house and there's like, a bunch of guys who never met each other, but just like playing each other. And that was like at least incredibly social. You play the game, it'd take like 40 minutes, and then you'd stop and hang out for 15 minutes before the next game and you talk. And they just obliterated that because of greed. They
Yeah.
got rid of it. You can't do that anymore. Like there's some games that are multiplayer, but almost all of them you need a console and
Yeah.
that's it. And you're alone. And I just think it was like one of those things that nobody noticed, but it was really bad.
Yeah. And I guess people can live through that sort of stuff through Twitch and places like that. But once again,
Yeah.
it's providing that barrier where there's a massive difference between being in a room with someone and hanging shit on them and
Hmm.
someone writing stuff online that has no consequences
Right.
and also can be misinterpreted as well. You got
Totally.
both sides.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
whereas in a
And
room,
just
someone
be
can
in a
say
room, someone
something
can
to you,
say
and you
something
just say
and you get
"fuck off," and you just
fuck
get
off, you
back to
fucking
it,
asshole.
and you just get back to it, and everyone laughs.
There was a guy that used to spawn kill, and his name was Chimp Nugget. That was him. And you would just hear someone fucking Chimp Nugget, stupid. Like that was so
You've hit that audio button again, Dave. You've hit.
I hate that thing. I hate that thing. But anyway, it to me, being a parent, it's been one of those things that I've just been like, man, because he goes online and now I talk to other parents and they all yell and they scream at
Yeah,
each other online and it's not like a good social thing the way they do it. And it's like, man, if they were in the same room, it would be totally different.
Yeah.
They wouldn't be acting like that. Or they would, and then they'd understand the consequences of doing that. Like
Oh,
it's just humanizing you. It's teaching you how to
we,
it's why I think team sports are really important. I
yeah,
know people think that some sports are dumb, but I think working with a team and learning how
yeah,
to deal with your team and all the different personalities and how
yeah,
you work together, and it's really important. It's a
yeah,
important thing. And I don't,
yeah,
well, we don't have that with a lot of stuff anymore.
yeah, yeah. Team sports teaches you how to deal with, uh, people who are too full on, people who need help, people
Hmm.
who are not far away from improving, working out how you fit in amongst the team dynamic,
Hmm.
uh, how you can improve in that situation, how to stand up for
Hmm.
yourself. Like there's heaps of things that can, you also learn at looking at some of your friends' parents. I don't want to grow up to be that guy.
Boy, is that true?
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, Jeff's dad. No, fuck that.
Yeah, Jeff. Oh, that's why Jeff's like that. Okay.
Yeah,
I get it.
explains a lot. I should let you go, but it's good to know that we have once again solved all of the problems. Look at us.
Yes. You're welcome.
Yes, feel free to share our murder the rich theories. And as I said, when you talk about us online, I would prefer that you say he's looking good for his age. That's all I ask.
Yes,
That's
that's right. Thank you. And I'm 74, by the way.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm 68, but I'm a little bit behind you. Thanks, Dave.
Yeah.
And that brings us to the end of the podcast. A big thank you to Dave Anthony, who is going to be a semi-regular on the show. And it was like one of those things where you think, how are we going to keep coming up with things to talk about? And luckily, the world is a hellhole, so there'll always be things to discuss. So that will work in our favor, I guess. So Dave, he's at the Dollop, and you know where to find him. But as always, I love chatting to Dave, and look forward to having him back on the podcast soon. As I said, for those of you in Adelaide, 19th of September. Go to adelaidecomedy.com for more details about the live show with Mickey D, one of Adelaide's great comedians, and we will be we will be performing stand up, and then we will be performing a live podcast where you will be able to hear the secret origin of Mickey D. Uh, as always, check out Substack. That's under Justin Hamilton Comedian. Patreon, which is patreon.com/Justin Hamilton for those of you who prefer me in your ears or you want to find some live shows that we've filmed there. And otherwise, yeah, everything else can wait. You know, a big thank you once again to Wonder Pies for supporting this podcast. And as I said, if you're in Melbourne, you feel like something delicious, go and check them out. I will be back soon. Like I kind of got hit with a whole lot of stuff all at once. I've watched the first two episodes of Alien Earth, and I want to discuss them. So some mini podcasts with just me will be coming out soon, and we'll try to get on to a rhythm with that, so we can be following it. I love the first two episodes. This is right in my wheelhouse. So I hope you're enjoying it too, and will join me over the next few weeks checking out this new series by Noah Hawley. And then we've got Alex Hammond coming up soon too. His book, The Moscow Defector, is out at the moment. It is a page turner, and if you only read this book, you can get one good story. But his previous two books, The Paris Collaborator and The Berlin Trader, they all add up to tell one big story. And man, it's great. I really enjoyed it. I've recorded a podcast with him. That'll come out later next week. So you'll get an opportunity to, uh, you know, um, hear him talk about the book without giving away any spoilers. So it's a fun chat, and I'm amazed that I don't blurt anything out. I managed to press stop before I went with my conversations with him. Okay. As always, thank you. And if you're enjoying this podcast or this video, if you'd like to subscribe to the very nascent YouTube channel that I'm setting up, you can. If you'd like to give it a good review, that would be great. But also, your time is precious, and the fact that you spend any of it with me is appreciated. So, just that is a win for me. So, you've been great. Thank you very much. And yeah. Where's that pause button? Where's that stop button? There it is. Great. Until then.